Hi there, my name is Frank McCallum. I'm one of the associate principals here at Vista Virtual School. We're going to share some information with you about our upcoming summer school for the 2025 school year. This is a video that'll take a couple minutes to get through, but I assure you these couple of minutes could save you an hour or more of frustration later on. So please stick with me right to the end of the video. I'll try to talk fast to get through it as quickly as I can. And if you miss something, you can always back up and review it again. I've got a little bit of information on a slideshow. Then I'll just show you a couple of tools to access on our website and you'll be good to go. So I'm going to share my screen here. So this is what we need to know as far as our summer school is concerned for this school year. We'll get started, and that is who is eligible. Basically, if you are a regularly resident of Alberta, that is to say, you might be traveling for the summer, you might be going to a cottage in BC or something like that. But if you normally live in Alberta and you're under 20 years of age as of September 1st, 2024, you qualify as a non-tuition student. That is, you can register for the summer school. The only fee you could potentially incur is a textbook fee. We'll talk about that shortly. If you are over 20 years of age or 20 years of older on September 1st, or if you regularly live outside the province, so maybe you're a BC or Saskatchewan student looking to get an Alberta course for the summer, then there are tuition fees that do apply, and those are listed on our website. There are prerequisites for a number of grade 11 and grade 12 courses. Your prerequisite course must be completed and on your unofficial transcript or DAR in order for us to process the next level. We cannot wait until your second semester course is done. So if you currently are taking Math 10C, for instance, you cannot take Math 20-1 with us in the summer school. We just simply cannot have those flags in our system waiting for marks. We also do have prerequisite mark requirements. Those prerequisite mark requirements are strict. If you require a 65% for a 10-level course to get into a 20-level course and you have a 64, you are not going to get into the 20-level course. We do an analysis of our academic performance, and the prerequisite marks are set based on what skills students have needed in order to be successful in the next level course. So it's not a punitive thing. It's to make sure that we are setting students up for success. If you are currently in grade 9 and going into grade 10 in September of 2025, you can take a few courses with us, like your grad requirements, Phys Ed Com. You can also take Career Technology Studies, CTS. Those are the small one-credit option courses, as well as some other option courses like psychology that seem to have a high interest. But we do not allow grade 9 students going into grade 10 to take the core courses. That's English, math, social studies, and science. These are compressed courses, and taking those kind of compressed courses going into grade 10 has not led to academic success further down the road. And you will need to have proof of your citizenship when you do the registration with us. That will be a Canadian birth certificate or passport. A driver's license or health card may show provincial residency, but it actually doesn't show citizenship. In terms of registrations, we open on Monday, April 14th at 9 a.m. We close on Friday, June 6th at 3 p.m. That's a strict deadline. No late submissions will be accepted. If you delay this and on Friday, June 6th, you start a registration at 2:58 p.m. and you finish at 3:05 p.m., that registration will be rejected. The 3 o'clock cutoff is incredibly strict, as most of our summer school deadlines and requirements are. Students registering with us can take one core course. That's a 5-credit course. You can also do 5 credits of options on top of that. But if you're looking to do multiple core courses, first of all, be very careful about your time commitment. I'll explain that shortly. But you can register at multiple online schools if you wish, but we only allow one core course because we have not found students taking 2 core courses to be successful in past school years. And if you're missing any information on your registration, let's say that you do give us a driver's license instead of a passport or a birth certificate, we will not be able to process your registration until that document situation is rectified. Many courses do have textbooks associated with them. They're the same textbooks that you would use in your local school. Keep in mind that with textbooks, there is a deposit fee. That deposit fee, it covers the cost of the textbook, and it is 100% fully refundable as long as the textbook comes back to us at the end of the summer. Not in October or November, but at the end of the summer, because then we can reuse that textbook for the rest of the school year. So you will have to pay a textbook deposit fee, but that textbook deposit fee will be refunded. I'm going to show you on our website in a couple of minutes. For those of you who've been with our school in previous summer schools, we do have a new registration system called School Engage. I'll show you where that is. Keep in mind that with School Engage, it is quite strict insofar as if you're under 18, your parent information must be the information that creates the account. We've had a number of students this school year who are under 18 who have filled out their own registration form and submitted it, and we've had to reject it because that has to be done under the parent's name with the parent contact information. And for students who have been with us this school year and have seen the new School Engage process, what a fun that's been, you do have access to the returning student form, so that will make your summer process a lot faster. In terms of the summer courses themselves, we are an asynchronous online school. That is to say, we do not have scheduled classes for you to attend. All of the information is provided to you in the online course, and you schedule your own time to go through that. For a 5-credit core course, you need to be scheduling at least 20 hours a week to be anywhere near successful in this course. These are compressed courses, but they still have a large quantity of work. You're looking at about 4 hours a day for the 5 school days during the week. And that's why if you start to look at this, okay, so if I were doing 2 core courses, that would be 40 hours. And then I have other summer activities, and then I have to eat and sleep. So you can see how the time starts to get away. Teachers are available by phone and email during regular school days, Monday through Friday, 8:30 till 4 o'clock. And there is a standard of 24 hours for return contact. So if you send an email or leave a voicemail on a Tuesday afternoon, if the teacher is available to get back to you that Tuesday afternoon, of course they will, but you would not expect a response until the Wednesday afternoon, that 24-hour window. And that's because the teachers are dealing with a large number of students who are virtually in a lineup. The email or the voicemail is kind of a lineup of students asking questions, and they have to work through that lineup. The course is open on July 1st. I know that's Canada Day, but many people are chomping at the bit. We cannot open the courses early because our summer teachers do not start until we get into July. So we don't have any teachers available for you. So the submission of work starts on July 1st, 9 a.m. That means you can start submitting work right away. Most of the deadlines wouldn't start until July 2nd, July 3rd, things like that. And assignment submission goes until July 25th at 3 p.m. There is an exam week to follow. There are a few courses, especially option courses, where there are no final exams, and you may get different information about when you can submit assignments or projects. There are some courses that have final projects as opposed to final exams. So in cases where there's different information, your teacher will provide that. But generally speaking, for most of your courses, you would expect to be submitting assignments from July 1st through to July 25th. And another note that we need to have something submitted from you by Sunday, July 6th at midnight. That's 11:59 p.m., so midnight, or you will be withdrawn from the program on Monday morning. Basically, by Sunday, July 6th, over 20% of the course time has already gone by. And so it'd be essentially like signing up for a course in September and then disappearing until the middle of October. Obviously, that's not going to set people up for success. So keep in mind that you must have work submitted by Sunday, July 6th at 11:59. And just a note on the course, because it's asynchronous, because things are presented to you or provided to you in lesson format, there's a lot of reading. It's a lot of going through information online, trying some practice work, and then moving on to assignments. With questions, the teacher will quite frequently ask, how far did we have you? Like at what point in the lesson did you start to run into trouble? So we can answer those kind of specific questions. We have a much harder time with, I don't know what I'm doing. That doesn't really help us because that's too wide a scope for us. Please go through the lessons. That's why they're there. They're step by step. And if you start running into trouble, it's helpful to know this is where I'm starting to run into trouble. Okay, so that's kind of the basic information. I do want to show you the website. I'm going to show you where things are right at the moment. This may change a little bit when our summer registrations open, but the places you're going to want to go right now, under programs and courses, this is where our course catalog is located. And you will see over on the side here, there is summer school. And so you can open up the summer school, and there you see the adults, our typical grade 10 to 12 students, and for international and out of province students. There's different course availability in different categories. Grade 10 to 12 Alberta resident students have access to almost all of our summer school program. adults and international out of province, we do have a limit as to what we can register there. I'm going to back up for a second here. Going to get us back to our main page. The other thing you're going to want to look at is the prerequisite charts. As I mentioned in the presentation, it's huge. The prerequisites are not punitive. They are based on, this is what people have had to do to be successful in the past. So in moving from English 10-1 to 20-1, let's say you took English 10-1 in the first semester, because if you're taking it in the second semester, we can't wait for the prerequisite mark. You have to have at least a 65% in order to take English 20-1 with us. In previous years, what we found is that students with a 60, 62, 63, you have good skills, but the skills are not strong enough for this independent asynchronous program. So these are important things to keep in mind. So have a look at the prerequisite charts. You must meet the prerequisite mark requirements. The other place I'll point out to you here is the register here. Again, this will likely be updated by the time you're seeing this video because the summer school will be open. But under the registration, this is where students, current students can do their School Engage login. That's the returning form that will be updated for the summer. And for those of you who are joining us for the first time, there is a place to create a School Engage account. It reminds you here, please read all the instructions. That's always important. But if you are under 18, the parent information needs to be filled in here. This needs to be a parent document or a parent School Engage form, because they're the ones who are still legally responsible for you. And so we need to make sure that the parent is the one responsible for the registration. In addition, there's probably going to be textbook fees. And so not a lot of high school students like paying those fees. Not a lot of parents do either, but they know they'll get that money back at the end of the summer. So that's been a few minutes. Hopefully that's been helpful to you. Like I said, you can go back and review any of this. If you do have questions, the best way to get a hold of us is through our online email, vvsupport@pembinahills.ca. I don't think I've included that in my screenshot, but vvsupport@pembinahills.ca. Email is the best way to get a hold of us. With phones, if you do leave a voicemail, it could be a couple of days for us to get back to you. The phones here typically ring off the hook, and we do not have the staff to answer every phone call. Emails are much quicker to answer. All right, that is it. Hopefully you have a great summer ahead.